Okay, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, and assembled company wherever you are in this world, and whatever time of day it is. Good day, and welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And this morning, in my case, this afternoon, in most of the rest of yours cases, maybe evening, I'm not sure. We have tellers from across Asia, hopefully Australia, and anyone else that joins us. I mean, if someone wants to join us from the Antarctic, they might. Or it's a bit. It is in fact the World Storytelling Cafe, and welcome everybody. And I will say more about this later, but because you only join us once a month because of the time difference, you might not have noticed that we're putting on a physical storytelling festival in actuality in February in Marrakesh in Morocco. And I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if anyone would like, we can offer no more than the company of 40 other maybe more tellers from around the world. We are going to fill the Medina of Marrakesh with stories. And if anyone would like me to send them a letter of invitation so they can take it to their local arts people and say, look, I've been invited to this fantastic international festival. Give me money to send me there. I will send them an invitation. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat. And if you lose this, you can send an email to David Healham. If you're in contact with him, he'll pass it on to me. But I'm trying to do two things simultaneously here. Right now, can we welcome? Where are you, Menu? Where are you, Menu?
Yeah, John. So I'm from Bangalore, India.
But well, all the way from Bangalore on Ali's magic carpet, we have Menu. Can you tell us a story? And a big round of applause.
Tannannadhinam 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 tannane tannannadhinam 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 tannane tannannadhinam tannane. Music is something that is part of all our lives. I'm sure you'll all agree in some form or the other, right? Some of us listen to music all the time. Some of us sing songs. Some of us even create songs or compose songs. But what if there was someone who was just not associated with music at all in his or her life? And then all of a sudden, he or she is surrounded by music all the time. Then what do you think happened? Well, let's see. Namaste, Namaskara, Vanakkam. My name is Meenu Sivaramakrishnan, and as I said, I am a storyteller, performance storyteller based out of Bengaluru, India. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you a retelling of a folk tale that comes from the central part of India. So here it goes. A long time ago, in a very small village, there lived a young lady called Paro. Now, Paro, you see, she just moved into this village just a couple of days ago after her marriage. It was now early in the morning, and she stepped out of her house for the very first time in that village to fetch some water in the nearby well. She would have just walked a few steps onto the road, and then she heard it. Talelo, talelo, tangame talelo, arari rari raro, arari rari raro. Wow! What a sweet voice! What a mesmerizing song that was! That was indeed a lullaby that her neighbor was singing to her little one. Wow! For a moment, even Paru felt like sleeping and she had to like tap herself to wake her up. Oh, she felt so good. And then, with that feeling, she began walking down the road. And soon enough, she reached by the riverside. And there she saw the fishermen. The fishermen were preparing their boats. They were readying up their nets and praying and hoping for a good catch in the river that day. Oh, yes, their hearts were filled with joy and, of course, hope. And their lips were singing. Yes, you guessed it right. Song of hope and joy. Yele yele yela lo, yele yele yela lo, yele 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 lo, yela lo, yela lo. Hiya re hiya, hiya ho, hiya re hiya, hiya ho. That was just amazing. Paro had never ever imagined, even in her wildest dreams, that fishermen could sing so well. Wow, she was thrilled. She was so delighted, and her heart was filled with joy, and she ran to the well to fetch water. Now you see, just listening made her feel so good, and now her heart yearned to sing. But how? How to sing? She'd never ever opened her mouth to sing. What song to sing? Where to get the songs? Now she found ladies already there fetching water. She mustered her courage and walked up to them. Didi, sister, uh, uh, I am new to this village. And since morning, since I stepped out of the house, I've been listening to such wonderful songs. Oh, they're so beautiful. You all sing so well. And my heart yearns to sing too. But I don't know what to sing, what song to sing. Where do you get all these songs from? Now, I have to tell you here that Paro was one innocent girl. You see, she just believed anything and everything anyone said. And the ladies of that village were quite clever and smart, and they recognized her, they understood her, and they wanted to have some fun. And so one of the ladies walked up to Paro and said, Paro, don't you know there is this shop in the market and they have such wonderful songs. We all buy our songs there, you know. Yes, I think you have to walk up to that shop and buy one song and sing it. That's it. Is it, Didi? They sell songs in the market. Oh, I didn't know that. I have to go. Thank you, Didi. Thank you so much. Thank you. And she was excited. She quickly filled her pots and ran back home. Now she was waiting for her husband to return home. Yes, and the clock struck 1. And she saw her husband walking down the road for lunch, you see. He was returning home for lunch, and immediately she came out with a glass of water. And as the husband Parimal entered through the gate, she ran up to him and gave the glass of water and said, husbandji, please, can you quickly go and buy one song for me from the market? Please, please. Huh? Paro? Kya hua? What happened to you? Are you okay? Song from the market? What are you telling? No. I'm all right, husband ji. You know, the ladies near the well, they told me they buy all the songs in that shop, it seems. Look at you. I'm telling you, I love your village and I want to be part of that village and I want to learn to sing. And you're always teasing me. Now you see, the husband, he was just married and he obviously did not want to see his wife upset, right? And so he had to agree and he took that glass, he drank from that, he started walking towards the market. He reached the market and there he saw all sorts of shops. Now, where to start? Who will give him songs? Do they really sell songs? Now he had to try it. What else to do? Okay. So he walked up to shops one after the other. But sad. In every shop, Parimal was laughed at, mocked at, and sent away. Whew. He was exhausted. He was hungry. 2 hours went by and he didn't have a song in hand. Now, what to do? He had to go back home, somehow convince his dear one. And so he started walking down the same road. Just then, he heard a sound. Krr, krr. He looked. There he saw a rat digging a hole. Yes, that's it. He got an idea. Paro just needs a song. If I didn't get it, I can definitely create one. And he knew where to start his song from. Digging karar karar, digging karar karar, digging karar karar. He loved his first line. He loved his tune, and happily humming the song, he further walked down the road until he was stopped by. Yes, it was a snake crawling from left to right side of the road. And he got his next line. And now crawling, 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 digging, karar, karar. He was really proud of himself for creating such a wonderful song for his dear wife, and happily singing joyfully, he jumped down the road until he was stopped by a fat, fluffy rabbit. Looking at him, blinking, looking, blinking, looking, blinking. You guessed it right. He got his next line. Looking, blinking, pruck, 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 pruck. Looking, blinking, pruck, 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 pruck. Digging, karar, karar. He was so happy. He just wanted to run home and sing this song to Paro. And he turned towards the right to reach his house when he saw two deers leaping and jumping as they ran into the woods. There they go. Umbak tumbak, umbak tumbak. There they go. Umbak tumbak. Yes! He finished his song and ran home and called out to his wife, Paro, Paro, come. Look what a song I have got for you. You know what? This is the costliest song available in the market, and I have got it just for you. Come on, listen to this. And he sang the song. Now, Paro loved the song. She immediately took a pen and paper and wrote down the lyrics. And she began to practice and practice and practice. Meanwhile, the poor husband was so tired. He quickly ate something he decided to take off for the rest of the day and retired early to bed. Now, this Paro was working and practicing and working and practicing. Time just flew by. It was night already. And you see, she was so excited that she couldn't feel like sleeping, going to bed at all. Anyway, she had lots of work to do. She had to practice also. Next day, she had to go and sing to the ladies, right? So she decided to work and practice more. It was midnight 12. 4 robbers tried to enter through their house as they started digging a hole through the wall. Little did Paro know, as she was deep into her practice. And as they were digging the hole, they heard the lines that Paro was singing. Digging, karar, karar, digging, karar, karar, digging, karar, karar. Oh no! The lady of the house has seen us! Run, hide! And the robbers ran and went and hid behind a tree. Shh! They waited until the coast was clear, and now when they found it safe, they went slowly to the hole. Now they knew that it was enough to crawl through one behind the other. And stealthily they crawled slowly through the hole. as they heard Paro sing, and now crawling, 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 tss, crawling, crawling, crawling. Tss. Ay, ay, ay. And the robbers looked at each other, looking, blinking, looking, blinking, as they heard Paro looking, blinking, looking, blinking, prick, 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 looking, blinking, prick, prick. Oh no! Now we have been seen! Run! Escape! And the robbers ran, jumped out of the hole, and ran as fast as they could, as they still heard Paro. There they go. Umbak tumbak, there they go. Umbak tumbak, umbak tumbak, umbak tumbak. And so they say, in that village, the four robbers never dared to return. Thank you.
That was what an amazing start to the program.
Fantastic.
Ah, and
Thank you.
I noticed we've been joined by some other people, including from every Tuesday evening, we have our young tellers. And we have one young teller who has been brilliant and is joining us, and she won't be next, but I want to introduce her, Yazname, in Punjab, and
Hello, everyone.
she but I think she can stand up and tell stories anywhere. Phil has heard her before. David's heard her before, and Yazname is one of our child stars. So welcome, Yazname.
Thank you so much.
So, and with that, I've actually forgot. Rupal, did I say you were next or Swati? Oh, fantastic. And you, where are you, Rupal?
I'm in Tanzania.
I thought you were in Tanzania. And which I would have mispronounced and called Tanzania, and I know it's Tanzania. But Rupal, welcome.
Thank you.
And wasn't that amazing from me? But just if you had to have a story to get us all in the mood for a story session, and it's a mixture of song, fantastic. But right now we are going down south in Africa, and we're going to Rupal. Please give us a story.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Minu. That was amazing. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Minu. That was absolutely wonderful. I love that story. Okay, so I'm actually taking you back to India. When John got in touch with me, I thought I'll go back to my childhood and revisit stories of baby Krishna, who I really used to love as a child. So my story today is about the birth of Lord Krishna. And we find ourselves in ancient India, near the banks of the river Yamuna. And there is the city of Mathura. And Mathura was ruled by a great king, Ugrasen. Ugrasen was as kind and wise as his son Kans was evil and cruel. All the people in Mathura hated Kans, for he took great pleasure in torture and pain. Now, Kans had a sister called Devki, who he loved a great deal. With whatever way he could love, any way that he could love, he loved his sister. And so when it came time for Devki to get married to Vasudev, a nobleman from Gokul, Kans himself promised to be the charioteer and take their procession after the wedding. The wedding was held in great pomp and splendor. And finally, it was time for Devki and Vasudev to leave. And Kans took hold of the chariot and he started going through the fields and through the forests, and deep into the forest. Suddenly, the horses reared up as a voice boomed from the high heavens. Kans, you have done enough evil. It is now time for your reign of terror to end. And it is going to be your sister Devki who will be responsible for producing your destruction. Her 8th son will be the cause of your death. And having said this, the voice faded into silence. Kans was enraged. He got down from his chariot, he opened the door, and he pulled Devki out by the hair. And he raised his sword, and he was about to chop off her head when Vasudev held his feet and said, Kans, Kans, think of the love that you have for your sister. How can you kill her on her wedding day? Please, I beseech you, spare her life, and I promise you that every son that is born to us, every child that is born to us, I will give to you. So Kans put away his sword and he said, yes, and to make sure that you do, I will keep you under lock and key in my deepest, darkest dungeon. And saying that, he turned the procession around and headed back to Mathura, where he had Devki and Vasudev thrown into the deepest dungeon in the palace. And time went by, and soon Devki was pregnant with her first child. When the child was born, its cries drew Kans down to the dungeon, and he said, yes, the first child is here. And he grabbed the child by the legs and he threw the child onto the stone floor, killing it instantly. And Devki and Vasudev were left in tears as Kans went back to the palace. The same fate awaited the next 5 children who were born, grabbed, and killed on the stone floor of the dungeon. When Devki was pregnant for the 7th time, she had a dream at night. And Lord Vishnu came in her dream and he said, this child will be saved. It will be taken to Rohini, Vasudev's other wife in Gokul, and there it will grow up to be Balram, Krishna's childhood friend. And so miraculously, the baby was carried to Rohini, and the next day, the guards were told that a stillborn had been born to Devki. So time went by, and it was the 8th day of Shravan, when the winds were howling and the storms were raging, and Devki was pregnant with her 8th child, the child that Kans had been waiting for. And that night, Lord Vishnu materialized in front of Devki and Vasudev, and he said, your wish has been fulfilled. I am going to be born to you, and I will be the destruction of Kans, the evil king. Vasudev, you must take the child and go across to Gokul, and there you will hand over the child to Nanda, who knows of this. And having said that, he disappeared. At the stroke of midnight, Devki gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. And quickly, she and Vasudev took the baby and put him in a reed basket. And Vasudev took the basket on his head and went to the dungeon door, which had flung open. He headed out of the dungeon to see that all the palace guards were fast asleep around him. He made his way through the corridors to the palace gates, which were wide open. Carrying the basket gently on his head, he headed down through the fields and through the dark, deep forests. And unbeknownst to him, behind them followed the great serpent that Lord Vishnu reclined on, Adisesha. And he raised his hood over Lord Krishna and kept him safe from the rain. And so Vasudev and Adishesa and little baby Krishna headed towards the Yamuna's banks. And when they got closer, they saw that Yamuna was raging, the waters were overflowing. But as soon as Vasudev put his first foot on the bank, the waters parted miraculously, allowing Vasudev to safely cross across the river floor all the way to Gokul, with the serpent and its raised hood over Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna was teasing it and laughing, pulling its many tongues. And so they got to Gokul, and they headed to Nanda's house. And there, near Yashoda, who was Nanda's wife, lay a little baby girl who had just been born that same night. And Vasudev put down the basket and gently took out baby Krishna, who he placed lovingly next to Yashoda. And he took the baby girl and gently replaced her in the reed basket. And he took the reed basket and he went back to Mathura. The waters of the Yamuna parting once more to allow him safe passage. And he got to the palace doors and he entered, and the doors closed behind him. And he made his way down the corridors and back to that deep, dark dungeon. And as soon as he entered, the door shut behind him with a click. And that click woke up the little baby girl who had been sleeping so peacefully, and she started crying. And her cries woke up the guards, who arose and immediately ran to Kans to tell him of the birth of the 8th child, the awaited 8th child. And upon hearing this, Kans rushed down to the dungeons and demanded that the couple hand over the baby. And Vasudev pleaded with him. He said, "It's only a baby girl. Kans, great Kans, how will a girl ever hurt the great Kans?" But Kans did not listen, and he grabbed the baby by the feet. And he was about to dash it onto the stone floor when the baby slipped out of his hands and materialized in front of them as Durga in all her magnificence, in all her power. And her voice boomed into the dungeons. "Evil Kans, your reign of terror is to come to an end. The prophecy has been fulfilled, and the 8th child of Devki and Vasudev resides peacefully in Gokul. And when he becomes older, he will be your death." And having said that, she disappeared. Kans was enraged. He was so fearful. And he stormed out of the dungeon, locking the doors behind, leaving Vasudev and Devki tearful with joy. And Kans raged back to his palace apartments. And there he spent time thinking about how to destroy the baby Krishna. But as they say, that's a story for another day. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Where else but a storytelling circle would you go from that wonderful story of craziness and joy and everything else from Menu to that really serious but wonderful traditional story from thousands of years from Rupal? And now I'm going to change the order a little because David wants to say something. He always wants to say something. We'll let him.
Thank you, John. It's wonderful that you're all here in the Zoom room. I've just had a couple of messages from Poonam Joshi and Jyoti Pandey, who are both storytellers in India who were here last month and telling stories. They're listening in on Facebook. So this is live stream. So if you want to share this with all your friends on Facebook. Ask them to come and join. Hi, Jyoti. Hi, Poonam. Hello, everybody watching wherever you are in the world. Back to you, John.
Thank you, David. Can I have my program back? Thank you. That's wonderful. No, thank you for that, David. And I'm going to change the order because Yasname in Punjab, and I think it's only fair that, you know, I mean, at 12 years old, and you don't want to wait for 10 hours before you go because, you know, you. So, Yasname, have you got your story?
Yes, I've got a folk tale.
Thank you. Please tell us.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasnami and I study in grade 6. I study in Yadvindra Public School, Mohali, and I live in Mohali, Punjab. So now I'm going to narrate a story named The Monkey and the Crocodile. Once in a dense forest, there was a mighty river. In that river, there lived an old crocodile. The crocodile was too old, so he could not think so much. He was very weak. Now, one day, he was trying to hunt fishes so that, because he was hungry, all the fishes slipped from his mouth, and the poor crocodile went under the tree, hoping for a food to eat. Now, when he woke up, he saw a monkey on the branch eating some yummy things. Wow, I shall ask him. Now he asked the monkey, "Oh dear monkey, can I have some of those what you are eating?" The monkey said, "Yes, why not? These are very sweet berries, and you will not feel hungry. Very nice. Thank you." And now he made him catch the berries. And now he started eating the berry. And the crocodile said, "Thank you so much, dear friend. I would like to have a friend like you." So the monkey said, "Don't worry. Now we both are friends. We will play on the trees, but you can't. I'll come down on the land and play with you. Then I'll sit on your back and have a round of the river." And he said, "Okay." Now, every day they used to eat berries together, very delicious and yummy berries. And then they used to go for a round in the river. Now, one day the crocodile said, "Monkey, I think these berries are too sweet. As you are, you helped me when I was hungry. I think my wife also wants these yummy berries. So shall I take it for her?" The monkey said, "Oh, you are my friend. You should not ask this. You can take as much as you want." Now he plucked yummy berries and he gave it to him. Now the crocodile went to his wife. Now he said, "Here are some sweet berries for you. My friend has given this to me." The wife said, these are too much sweet. But think how much sweet the monkey would have been, that he has given me such sweet berries." And now he said that yes, he is too sweet. And now the wife said, think his heart is also so sweet. I have not eaten meat from past so many weeks. Please, can you get me that? And now the crocodile said, "No, I can't do that. He is my best friend. He helped me when I was hungry. He is my life savior." And now she said, "Okay, I'll go away if you don't listen." So now he had to go. He went to the tree and he was very nervous. He thought, how would I say this to my friend? But he went and said, "Oh dear monkey, you gave us such sweet berries. My wife has invited you for a dinner. Will you go?" He said, "Why not? For sure." Now he said, "Just wait." He came down from the tree and went onto the back, and now they were going. In the middle of the river, the crocodile thought, I think I'm not doing good. I shall tell him. Now it's his choice. Now he told everything to the monkey, and the monkey said, "Oh, this is the thing. Now you know, I'll tell you something. My heart is hidden in the tree because some people hunt me, and I don't want to be hunted. So take me back to the tree and I'll get my heart, then we'll go together." As I told you, the crocodile was old and weak, so he could not think so much. So he said, "Okay, friend, thank you." And he went back to the tree. Now the monkey quickly climbed up the tree. Now he said, "Oh, what do you think? I'm a foolish animal. You think that I'll go with you to your wife? You foolish. You don't know that humans can't get their heart out of their body. Otherwise, they will die." And the poor crocodile said, "Oh no, what did I did?" And now monkey said, "I will never be friend of yours. I helped you, but I'll never help you." And the poor crocodile said, "Now what shall I do? My friend has also gone and my wife also." Now that's the end. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the story.
No, mate, I knew that your story would stand up and would be, you're fantastic. Now you can actually not worry about what you're going to tell and sit back and enjoy everyone else's stories. Would anyone else, before we go on, like to say anything to Yasname?
It was really, really engaging and lovely, Jasmine. This was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is my favorite story. So it was very well narrated. A big round of applause for you.
Thank you so much. John, I wanted to tell that I won a shield. I won third prize in a storytelling competition. It was from Southside, Bengaluru.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. Right now.
And if you want to hear Jasname again, Jasname, will you come most Tuesdays, don't you? Like you said, John, bring young people to the World Storytelling Cafe on Tuesday.
That's it. Yeah, it's probably the middle of the night for some of you, but it's 5 o'clock. We do it every Tuesday at 5 o'clock UK time. It's open for any young tellers under 18 years old. And we have tellers from Gaza, from India, from the UK, from anywhere who wants to send us tellers. So if you've got young tellers yourself that you would like to encourage and meet other young tellers from around the world, come to the cafe on 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. 5 o'clock UK time, not any other.
John,
right now,
John, don't forget to mention that UK time has just moved an hour just recently. It's catching some people out.
That's why I say UK time and not Greenwich Mean Time. Because most people now look at Google and say what time and check time. I've become an expert at that through this. Anyway, I'm not going to rattle on because Swati is waiting to tell a story, and I gave a place to someone else who actually told the story that Swati was going to tell. So you just had time to think of another
one. Hello, everyone. I'm Swati Kheria from Calcutta, India, and I'm going to share a story on Lord Ganesha, because in India, he is a god that everyone worships, and I'm sure everyone around the world also knows about him. And this story will actually, I think everyone can join me while I sing the short hymn for Lord Ganesha between the story. And I do Moria, Mangal Murti Moria. Ganpati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria. Cool. So once upon a time, long, long ago, much before you were born, much, much before your parents were born, and probably much, much, much before your grandparents were born, there lived a demon, an asura called Annalasura. Now, this demon, whenever he walked forth, fire emitted out of his mouth. And he took advantage of his power and caused widespread destruction. And everyone were now tormented. They rushed to Lord Ganesha for help and prayed to him. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Now, Lord Ganesha said, don't worry, I will help you all. And he started looking for Annalasura. Bolo, Ganpati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria. So, when he saw Annalasura was ready to gobble him up. But Ganesha grew and grew and grew. And he grew so large and enormous that he could gobble the Asur himself. And in no time, Annalasura disappeared into Ganesha's stomach. Everyone celebrated. Bolo, Ganpati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria. So, but soon Lord Ganesha started having excruciating pain in his stomach. Oh no, Annalasura was using fire to wreak havoc in his tummy. Then, so Lord Shiva, his father, released a serpent of Ganesha's tummy. Released a serpent on poor Ganesha's tummy. The serpent was supposed to have a cooling effect on Ganesha. But still, his pain persisted. Then came Lord Vishnu and placed a lotus on his tummy. But still, poor Ganesha's pain persisted. Then came River Ganga and started flowing its cool waters on Lord Ganesha's torso. But to no, Ganesha said, his tummy was still aching. Then came the Lord Vayu, or the wind god, and started blowing cool air on Ganesha's tummy. Still no use. Sages from the Himalayas came, gave cold showers. Lord Brahma came and gave him the nectar of immortality. His pain persisted. Then all the sages from wide and far came and collectively sought for a solution. They went to the Himalayas and got this special grass called Durva. These were special thin blades of grass. They got 11 pieces of grass and fed it to Ganesha. Ganesha was more than happy to take anything that would relieve him from this pain. And Ganesha took the grass and magically his pain went away. Bolo, Ganpati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria. And that is why every day we celebrate Ganesha, and he is the Lord we worship, and also offer him these 11 blades of Durva every Wednesday. to make him happy. So this is the story of Lord Ganesha for you all. Bolo Ganpati Bappa Moria, Mangal Murti Moria.
Oh,
Thank you so
fantastic.
much, everyone.
Oh, what a journey we're going on today. I think we're going to take a longer journey now, because we're going right over to Korea next. So Ali, if you've got your magic carpet, Mohammed, we've got the magic carpet to take us to across to Korea, and our Suk is in Korea and has a story for us. Thank you for that story, Swati. It was brilliant. It's like having too many cream cakes, isn't it? I'm full of stories, and so thank you. And Suk, over to you. Please tell us a story.
Hello, my name is An-suk Kim. I'm from South Korea. I live in Daegu. It's a little further down east side from Seoul. So now I will tell you an old Korean folk tale, a very Korean style. You may feel some flavor of Koreans' old lifestyle. A man who borrowed money and paid back in the land of dead. Once upon a time, there lived a man, Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim. Kim is the most popular family name in Korea, and Bak too. So Kim, Bak, E is very popular Korean family name. So now I call him Mr. Kim. In a village in Korea, he was rich, but not generous. He was a stingy man, and people often went to him to borrow money, but they have to pay back by any means. No exception, no excuse. He often bragged to his friend, if someone borrowed money from me and he ran away, I could chase him to the end of the world. I never give up. I always get paid. So there lived another man, Mr. Bak, in the neighborhood, and he heard Mr. Kim's reputation, and he didn't like Mr. Kim's bragging as a lender. So he thought, okay, I will borrow him some money and I will not pay back. Let's see who wins, what happens. So Mr. Bak went to Mr. Kim and borrowed money, 100 ryang. Not big money, but quite amount, not forgettable money. So in a month, he promised to pay back. So Mr. Kim lent the money, and as the due date came closer, Mr. Bak one afternoon called his son and said, my son, now go to the funeral shop and buy a wooden coffin for me and prepare a funeral service for me. His son was surprised. Father, you are not dead. Why I should prepare your funeral service? Just do that as I told you. So his son brought a wooden coffin and prepared the funeral service in Korean way. So he put on the yellow hemp gown and yellow hemp hat, like all kind of things. So he said, now you go to the neighborhood and spread the word. Your father died yesterday. So his son did. And Mr. Kim, the lender, of course, he heard this news and he wondered, yesterday when I saw Mr. Bak, he was well, okay. So what happened to him? So he hurried to Mr. Bak's house. And Mr. Bak's son greeted Mr. Kim, wearing the yellow hemp gown and hat. And you know, in old Korea, we just, as a mourner, we greet the guest like this. 아이고, 아이고, 아이고. It means I'm so sad. Anyway, Mr. Kim saw Mr. Park's son mourning and he couldn't demand his money, so he just expressed his polite condolence and should come back with empty hand. That night, Mr. Kim, the lender, thought and thought, and he was getting angrier. Mr. Park borrowed my money and he died before he paid me back. I have to find a way. I will not give up. So the next morning, he went to the kitchen and he grabbed a knife and he sharpened the blade. Suck, 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 suck. And he just wrapped the blade with the cloth and he kept it inside his coat. And he ran to Mr. Park's house. Mr. Park's son greeted him again. And Mr. Kim said, okay, your father borrowed 100 liang from me, and now your father died. So you have to pay back instead of your father. Mr. Park's son said, oh, my father never mentioned about the money from you. I can't believe it. Oh, I can't pay back. So Mr. Kim, all right, then I know how to get my share. Okay, and he just took out the knife and he hurried to the room where Mr. Park's coffin was kept. And Mr. Kim tried to uncover the lid. Mr. Park's son ran after him and held his hand and pleaded, oh, please stop it. Please let my dad be dead in peace. You know, it's no use for you to take my father's flesh. Stop it. I will pay back my father's debt. So Mr. Kim now stopped. And okay, then bring the money right now. Mr. Park's son pleaded again. When I finish my father's funeral service, I will pay you. I promise. So Mr. Kim went home. You know, Mr. Park, the borrower, inside the coffin, heard all these conversations. And now he came out and he said to his son, son, now go around the neighborhood and spread the word. Your father came back from the land of dead and he's alive. Tell them. So his son did. And of course, Mr. Kim heard this news and he was surprised how a dead man came back alive from the land of dead. So he hurried to the Mr. Park's house and he saw Mr. Park was sitting in his room and he looks fine. Mr. Kim said, oh, what happened to you? Are you really coming back from the land of dead? Mr. Park smiled and said, yes. You know what? The great king of dead found it was a mistake to take me there. He said, your turn is not yet. Go back to your house. That's why I came back. And Mr. Kim said, because he was now curious about the life after he died. So he asked, what was like the land of dead? So Mr. Park said, you know what? I realized I have to pay back all the debt before I die. There, a lender, you know, beat a borrower, I saw a man at the corner while I came back the place. A man just beat an old man with a big stick, and the old man cried and screamed so painfully. So I was shocked and I asked, what happened to the old man? So they said, the old man was a borrower and the man who was beating, he was a lender. So the lender could hit the borrower until he paid back. I was shocked. So now Mr. Kim was more and more curious. So, oh really? The borrower suffering a lot. Oh yes, sure. Like that. Then Mr. Park smiled and shook his head and said, you know what? Then the old man's face looked very familiar to me. So Mr. Kim was very curious. So, oh, who was he? Did you know him? Yes. And he came closer to Mr. Kim's ear and whispered, it was your late father. What? No, it's not true. It can't be. Oh, what? Mr. Kim was hysterical, but Mr. Park calmed down. You know what? I heard your father borrowed 200 ryang from the man and he died before he paid back. So now he was suffering so much. I felt so sorry for your father. So fortunately, I had money, 200 ryang. My son, such a considerate young man, he prepared for me for my journey. So I paid your father's debt to the man, and your father was so grateful, and he thanks, and he said, when you come back to your house, please tell my son, pay back this 200 ryang. He will do that for me. Mr. Kim now embarrassed, puzzled, and a little suspicious, but what could he do? Because in old days in Korea, a son should respect his father's word even after his father died. So Mr. Kim now have to listen to his late father. So he just, but Mr. Park said, calm down. I will not get back the money. You know, I already borrowed 100 ryang from you and I didn't pay you on due day. So you suffered a lot because of me. So how about let's make it even and you just clean your debt. I clean my debt. How's that? So Mr. Kim now, very grateful and thank you. And very humbled. He just went back his house with an empty hand. So Mr. Park said, now I hope he learned some humility. Life is not like what he, think. This is it. Thank you.
Aunt Suk, that was amazing and wonderful. And I would, if I have your permission, I would like to take that story and tell it myself.
Okay, do that. Spread the story to the world.
I know. I wanted to get that in first before David did.
No, because Aunt Suk already communicated with me this week about that story, so I got there first, John.
Right. We won't tell it.
Share the story.
We won't tell it in the same place.
Please spread the Korean folktale to the world. Thank you.
Aunt Suk, can I just say, you are my favorite Korean storyteller. I love listening to you tell stories. And Aunt Suk, I run courses called Creative and Engaging Storytelling for Teachers courses. And Aunt Suk finished the last course that I did last Sunday. So yeah, it's just such a joy, Aunt Suk, to hear you telling that story so beautifully, like you always do. Jackie's also done the course. Welcome to each other, and Yeah, there'll be more courses.
But that's the one thing. David knew
Yeah.
only one Korean storyteller. That's me. So
You're the best. You're the best, Nancy.
Yeah, well, we have quality. Anyway, let us go. Thank you, Ansuk. Now you have to forgive me when I'm announcing names, because I'm sort of trying to work out from just spelling, and you know, I'm bad enough even if I'm told a name. So when I've gone around schools around different countries, and I have to sign my book and things, I always get a piece of paper and I get the child to write their name on it so I don't misspell it. So just correct me. Just ignore my strange pronunciation of your names and correct me. And so I am now moving on to, and I guess this, this is the first magnificent mispronunciation. Parvati. Now correct me and tell your story, please.
Okay. I'm Parvati. Yeah, Parvati is fine. Parvati is my name.
Parvati.
Yeah,
Parvati.
I'm from India. I'm from India, Bangalore, and I thought I'll share a very small folk tale from India. All of you have children, right? At the age of 6, 7, how many questions they ask, how much of interesting questions, sometimes really, really tough questions they ask, right? Now let us hear this story, which a king found. It's so strange, and finally he learned a lesson from that. King Hesendra was a king in Tamil Nadu, and he was well respected and people loved him. He had a set of ministers, and one of the ministers was his favorite. So every morning at 10 o'clock, they used to have a meeting in the palace. But for the past 1 week, this minister has been coming quite late. He was always very punctual. He used to come, always was on time, he used to come. No, nearly 10 days he has been coming late daily. So now the king was very irritated. So now it was 10 o'clock, the minister had not yet come. So 10, 10:30, it's to be 11, and the minister enters. And the king says, how come you are coming late nowadays? Why are you coming late? You know the meeting starts exactly at 10. So you have to come on time. So the minister said, see, king. The king was not yet married, okay. So he said, the minister said, king, I have a 7-year-old son. So he, when I leave the house, he asks so many questions and there's so many things I have to answer. Otherwise, it's difficult. So leaving him and coming, that's why I'm getting there. Don't give me all such excuses. What's so great bringing up a small boy? After all, 7-year-old son, you are saying he is giving you problems? Please don't tell me all that. No, that's what. Okay. Then the minister said, listen, I'll tell you, listen to me. You be the father, I'll be the son. Okay? The king said, fine, I'll be the father, you be the son. And then the minister just sat there and bawling, crying, as if it was a son. The king asked, son, what do you want? Last year you got me a sugar cane. You know that sugar cane, right? The long. You got me a sugar cane. I want a sugar cane now. Oh, that's not a problem. I'll get you a sugar cane. Come. And he calls and they bring a longest, juiciest sugar cane. And looking at that, gives it to the son. He looks and then he's about to put it. Now what happened? There's an ant in the sugar cane. can and put it and just under his feet. Now why are you crying? Mama said you are not supposed to kill anything. Why did you kill? Okay. Now you have your sugarcane. Said the boy. That is the minister. Now what? How will I eat? You have to cut it and give it to me. Oh, that's not a problem. Come on, come cut the sugarcane. So the sugarcane was cut. Nice sugarcane in a tray. The sugarcane pieces were brought. The boy saw that. No, what? I don't want to eat sugarcane anymore. So, put it back and get me the sugarcane now. The king said, how will I do that? You have to do it now. Give it to me. The king bowed to the minister and said, now I understand how difficult it is to bring up a 7-year-old boy. Please forgive me. That's how the king learned a lesson.
Oh, fantastic. Right, I'm going to I have to wake up and get coffeed up for these morning sessions. But as soon as people start telling, I wake up. I mean, it's been brilliant, and we still have more in the pot. So we'll go to Ramya next, and then Mira, and then Anagya. You can correct me later. And but right now, big round of applause for Parvati, and welcome Ramya. And please tell.
It was such a delight to listen to you, Parvati. Am I audible? Good day, good day. Very long time ago, in a village in Tamil Nadu in the south of India, there lived a young man with his Pati, his grandmother. After his parents had moved on to another world, his Pati lovingly took care of him and raised him. They both shared a very beautiful bond. The last few years, though, this young man had started stealing and lying. Many evenings, Pati would sit on a coir chair and this young man would be sitting on the floor, her grandson, and she would have warm coconut oil with curry leaves, karivapilla, mixed in it, and she would massage his hair, and he would be so happy to experience that. But the last few days, he had been very silent because he couldn't face his Pati. This one evening, Pati said, you know you can tell me everything. Please don't hide anything from me. Is there something you want to tell me? And the minute she uttered those words, Pati mudiyala, I'm not able to control this. I have to tell you that I have been doing a few bad things. I have been stealing and I've been lying and I just don't know how to stop. He really sat like this in front of his Pati. Pati, with her doubts, confirmed. Breaking inside, but with a soothing, calm voice that a grandmother has. She took him in her embrace and said, don't worry, Kanna. We'll do something about it. You don't worry. Why don't we begin with one thing? Why don't you stop lying? I'll do anything you say, Pati. I'll do anything you say. And like a small baby, he slept next to his Pati that night. Slumber that he had not known for months and years since he had started straying. He slept with a lot of peace that night. Now let me tell you something about the Raja, the king of that place where the young man grew up with his grandmother. This Raja was loved by all his subjects. He was just, he was kind, and he was everything that most of us imagine a Raja to be. But there was some things about the Raja that not many people knew. He was a dreamer. He was a singer. He was a seeker of adventure. But most of all, he was a seeker of truth. And this was one dimension on which both sides of him met in seeking truth. And so many nights, he, after everybody was quiet and asleep, he would step out of his palace in disguise, feeling really relaxed. One full moon night, it had been a few days since the young man had spoken to his party, his grandmother. One beautiful full moon night, he stepped out from his house and he started walking towards the Raja's palace. And the Raja himself, it was one of those nights when he disguised himself and was looking forward to his adventure that night. It had just been a few moments and he was just walking outside the palace when he admired the beautiful moon in the sky and said, "Varayu vennilave, kelayu engal kadaye." "Oh dear moon, why don't you come and listen to my stories?" he sang. His heart was singing and he was feeling so happy. And there, in the distance, at this time of the day, a young man was walking towards the palace. He saw the young man, their paths crossed, and the Raja asked the young man, "Young man, what are you doing at this hour of the day, or rather evening? It's so late." For a minute, the young man had a story ready. And then suddenly he thought of his loving, beautiful, soft, lovely party. And he thought of that night and the promise. And he said, "I am going to the Raja's palace to steal." "Is it? Are you going to the Raja's palace to steal? How wonderful to know. So what do you plan to do?" "I don't have a plan. I'm just going to go and steal something from the palace. It's so late." "Let me help you," said the Raja. He was all ears, the young man was all ears. And then the Raja said, "When you go to the south side of the palace, as you knock on the door, there is a panel which is a little loose. And it is a secret door that not many people know of. You just keep banging, and when you reach there, the door will open when you push it. And you will be in a secret passage which leads you to the throne room. And in the throne room, under the throne, there's a silver box. And in that silver box, there's a red purse. And in that red purse, you are going to find something very precious." This young man, he really trusted this friend he met. He said, "Thank you so much. You've made my work so easy." And he set off towards the palace. Knocking on the south side of the palace, he found the panel. He reached that secret passage. It was dark and quiet. And slowly he tiptoed towards the throne room. He reached the throne, and just like the friend had promised, under the throne was a silver box. And he opened the box. And in that box was the red purse. And his trembling hands went inside the red purse. And out came a shiny diamond, and his hand went again, and out came another diamond, and his hand went again, and out came the third diamond. And then he looked again into the purse to be sure that he had got them all, and he said, "Oh my God, 3 diamonds!" He was about to take them all and put them in his pocket when he again thought of party, his sweet, loving party, his grandmother. "I don't think I need all these 3 diamonds. Why should I take them? I need only one for myself. But what about that friend who gave me all that information? I think I'm going to take another." So he took 2 diamonds and he put the third diamond into that red purse, which went back into the silver box under the throne. And slowly he stepped out of the throne room, out of that secret passage. And just like how he came quietly, he stepped out of the palace, hoping that he meets that friend. And he started walking, and there he met his friend, the Raja in disguise. And he said, "You were right. Thank you so much. You know what I found in that? I found 3 diamonds. I kept one in that for the Raja. This one is for you, and this one is for me. And I think I'll go home now," with a big smile on his face. Now the Raja was wondering, what is it with this young man? He said, young man, I don't understand this. So you say you found 3 diamonds and you kept one. Why would you do that? And a question is bothering me. When I asked you where you're going, you immediately blurted out everything and you said, I'm going to the Raja's palace to steal. Who does that? And then he told the whole story. He said, have you ever promised somebody whom you love so dearly, you have to keep it? And that's what happened with my party. I have to honor her promise. And so now I'll be on my way. And he went towards home. And the Raja thought this was enough for this night. I don't think I want to go ahead. And very slowly he went back to his chambers. Next day morning, he called for the chief minister and he said, Minister, there has been a theft in the palace. I want you to do all the assessment right now and tell me, report to me. And the minister wondered, oh my God, what is it? What is it with the Raja today? That he had to follow the orders. He knew where to go. He went to that throne room. He went and found that silver box. He found that red purse. And as he looked inside, he knew about the 3 diamonds. But here he noticed only one was there. He said, what a strange thief. He has come. He has stolen 2 diamonds. Why would he keep the 3rd one? Seriana loose. How could this thief do this? He was wondering. And he was about to take that purse with the diamond and go to the Raja when suddenly a voice in him spoke and said, Minister, you have given so much to this kingdom and to the Raja. You have this opportunity. Why don't you take that 3rd diamond? And before he hears another voice in his mind, he decided to listen to this voice. And he took that 3rd diamond and pocketed it in. He kept that red purse and he went to the Raja and said, Raja, you were right. There has been a theft. 3 diamonds from the purse are missing. Oh, is it? 3 diamonds are missing, you say? I want you to go outside and find the thief right now. So the guards set out and went to that young man's house. And the minute he opened the door and they asked the young man, he said, yes, I did take the diamonds. I did steal something from the Raja's palace. And the young man was brought to the Raja's court. By this time, everybody, all the ministers had gathered and the Raja was sitting on the throne and the young man came and stood there. And then the minister spoke. How dare you steal from the Raja's palace? How can you do that? How can you take 3 diamonds from there? And the young man, that was the first time he spoke, he looked up and he said, I did steal, but I did not take 3 diamonds. I only took 2. I took one for myself and a friend I met. I gave him the other one. Please trust me. What stories are you spinning? How is it even possible? Who will believe this? A thief who keeps 1 diamond? How is that going to, how will anybody believe you? He said, this is the truth. And he removed the diamond from his pocket and he said, this is the diamond I have. I have only this. And the Raja stepped out and he walked towards where all of this was transpiring. And the Raja said, this young man speaks the truth. For I am the friend whom he met in the night. And he showed the 2nd diamond glistening there. Everybody stood aghast and they looked at each other because they couldn't look at the Raja with those big eyes. Yes, I met this young man and he speaks the truth. I want the guards to arrest this minister right away. I do not want to see him. He is the one who has the 3rd diamond. And though the minister was confessing and he said, yes, I do have the diamond. Please forgive me, Raja. I've never done this before. Please. But he was dragged away by the guards. There was a moment of quiet. And then the Raja went up to the young man and said, I am so inspired by your honesty. I am so inspired. And not only were you honest with your party and me, but you were honest with yourself and you were alone in that room. You could have done anything, but you did not. You really, really inspire me. Would you like to be my minister now and work with me? The young man stood there and he said, I'm very touched by your trust and your forgiveness. And it really moves my heart that you give me this opportunity. I'm a very small young man. Of course, I would love to work with you. But can I say one small thing, please? And the Raja said, You may, of course. Can you please forgive that chief minister? You met me last night and you were able to forgive me. And you are not able to forgive your minister because you know him for so long. Can you please forgive him and bring him back? And that's what the Raja did. And the guards brought back the chief minister. And the Raja saw the look of regret in the chief minister's eyes. And he forgave him. And the young man said, I would like to learn from this chief minister who served you for so many years. And that's what they did. The young man and the chief minister worked together, giving good advice to this Raja. And the Raja did not have to hide and step out in disguise. But of course, many a times, those dreamy nights, he would step out, feeling free to enjoy his singing and his seeking of adventure, looking at the moon and singing and going into the distance. And yes, I also think very often of how the party would have felt after this all happened. And I wish I could just give her a hug. Thank you so much for listening to this story. It's a folktale from Tamil Nadu, and I don't know, it's just stolen my heart, and I'm glad that I'm able to.
I love that story. I love that story. I want the thief, the Raja, and the forgiven minister to actually take over the world government, actually, and just and treat us all properly. That's oh, what a lovely story, and really unusual.
Ramya, so beautifully told. It's lovely to hear you again telling a wonderful story.
Yeah, thank you, David.
It's a story that I tell as well. I just love it. It's the first time I've heard anyone else tell it, so it's a delight for me.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I'm just going to say this now, while you're, because people disappear and things. I said it at the beginning. February the 12th to the 20th in Marrakesh, we are having our first Marrakesh International Storytelling Festival. And it's partly a celebration of, for a year, we've been meeting virtually in the cafe, just over a year and a week since we did this. We've had tellers from every continent. And it's a chance for people to meet up properly. We are doing it on absolutely no funding, smoke and mirrors. We're doing it. So we're and some of we're filling the riads up in Marrakesh with tellers. And the whole Medina will be buzzing with stories for 8 days. So if anyone, you'll have to raise your own funding to get there. We offer absolutely nothing but company of storytellers from all over the world. But if anyone would like an invitation, so they can take that invitation and go to their local whatever funders or arts associations or whatever and say, look, I have been invited to this wonderful festival. Email me, john@johnrowe.com, or get in touch with David if and David will forward your emails to me, and I will send you an invitation that I'll email you an invitation. It's handy if I've got your address, because I can put that on the invitation and it looks more official. It is official, but but we would love. It would be great if all these tellers that have been meeting virtually over the year could get together and just have Marrakesh buzzing with story. Mohammed's waiting there for us. He's got and we're going to have a physical small storytelling centre there that will be there permanently. So anyway, please stay in touch. And I'm now going to go to Mira. Where are you? Well, I've lost you.
Sure.
Oh, there you go. there's little squares all over my screen. Meera, please tell us a story.
Hello, everyone. I'm Meera Venkateshan from Bangalore. Before I start, I would like to say what a beautiful story, Ramya. It was so amazing. Thanks for sharing that amazing story. Okay, so now my story is about, in fact, it is about a man who was stingy too. Let's see what happens to him. Well, he didn't like to spend money. He was quite rich. He had a lot of money. He didn't like to spend it. He just wanted it to grow and grow and grow and grow. But there was another problem. He didn't like to do work either. He didn't like to hire people. So he had this huge farm and this huge house, which was quite unkempt. Nobody bothered to do anything about it. And his wife was constantly nagging him. Either you do it yourself or you get someone else to do it. What is the point of having so much land without doing anything about it? Everything is going to waste, blah, 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 blah. They didn't have headphones those days, but he managed to shut off his ears. Then one day, as he was going through the forest, wondering about a way to solve this problem, was there any way he could get someone to do all this work for free? He thought aloud, I wish there was someone who just liked to do work for the sake of work without wanting any money. You won't find anyone like that today either, but yes, except storytellers. Well, he didn't find anybody, so he repeated again, I wish there was a way to find someone who would do all the work without wanting any money. And then there was a rumble and a grumble and a lot of other sounds, and whoosh! Right in front of him appeared a genie, a yaksha. Master, I heard you. What do you want from me? I don't want anything from you. I want to work for you. I won't give you any money. That's perfectly fine. I don't want any money. I will come and work for you. This happens? Really? I mean, wow. So he said, come with me. And then he marched home. He knocked the door. His wife opened it and he said, see, my dear, what I have done. I have found the answer to all your problems. This, whoever he is, he will do all the work that you want. And he will not ask for a single penny. Well, said the wife, I am not too sure. There seems to be something wrong with the logic. Stop thinking so logically. There is no need to do that. Now, are you ready to do work? He asked the yaksha. Yes, master, but there is one condition. What is that? No money? No. But you should always keep me busy. You should give me some work to do all the time. Because if I don't work, I feel hungry. And if I feel hungry, I'll be forced to eat you up. Don't worry. That won't happen. We have work enough for 100 people here. So you will take a long time to feel hungry. And so he told the genie, why don't you go and sow the entire field? And then why don't you plant the seeds and then why don't you water it and come? I'm sure this is going to take some time, maybe 2-3 days, and then you come back and I'll tell you what next to do. And he told his wife, get me a cup of coffee, my dear. She said, I'm sure something is going to happen. This just isn't logical. But she went to get the cup of coffee anyway. Don't forget to tell him to clean the house also. As she was going to get the coffee, as she was boiling the milk, she heard a sound. Master, give me work. What? She rushed out and there was the genie. You couldn't have finished all that work so soon? I think you are just lying. No, you can go and check for yourself. And he had finished all the work in the farm. Well, said the wife, you need to clean up the house. And there are lots of corners in this house whom nobody has touched for the last 10 years. You know that? So you need to do a good, thorough job and clean out all the rats in the basement. There's a lot of work to do. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. That was nice. And so the man went, this is going to save some time. He thought, but even before the wife turned, master, give me work. You cleaned the house? Yes. You cleared out all the rats? Yes. Give me work, otherwise I have to eat you up. What work can it be? You know what? We've been having a lot of water shortage. Can you go and build a canal from the river that is like 10 miles away, all the way here? Go and do it. It's going to take a long time, I know, but it's okay. You can take your time. Don't be in a hurry. It's okay. And the genie went. Now this man was really scared. What if the genie came back? He couldn't think of anything else to do. I don't want to be eaten, please. Even before he finished talking, the genie was back. Master, give me work. Are you sure? Yes. Give me work. Give me work. Otherwise I have to eat you up. He looked at his wife. Help me, please. I told you something was wrong with this. You don't get anything for free. Please, we'll talk about this later. At a later date, we will have a discussion. Okay, I'll help you, she said. She told the genie. Master, yeah, I'll give you work. You see that dog there, the little puppy? Yeah, pick it up. So he picked up the little puppy. Oh, the puppy said, he didn't really like this genie, and he didn't really like the way he handled her. So rough. Well, the wife said, all you need to do is straighten its tail. And then you come back, we'll give you more work. Don't worry. Said the genie. That is a second. That won't take more than a second. And he held the puppy in his hand like this and pulled the tail. Said the puppy. Toing. It just needs a little more technique. The puppy bit his hand and jumped. The genie ran after the puppy all round the house. And the puppy ran and the genie ran and he picked up the puppy and tried to straighten the tail and the tail went back. And they say that there is no end to this story because it just keeps going on and on. Of course, the genie couldn't straighten the puppy's tail. And the man was safe. And he also learned that he had to do hard work and that was the only way. He hired some people and he was happy. His wife was happy. About the genie, I don't know. If you hear someone or see someone running behind a puppy, you know it's him. So don't get too friendly with that genie. That's all I would have to say.
What a wonderful story. It's amazing that stories where men make pacts with genies, devils, and so forth, 9 times out of 10, it's their wives that get them out of trouble. So there's, wherever you go, wherever these stories are told in the world, whatever versions, it's always the one. I can think about 10 off the top of my head. I can only think of one where 1 or 2 where people get out of trouble themselves, or someone, a stranger gets them out of trouble. But most times it's the wives. And we come to our last teller. And I got to say before you start, Meg, our next sort of what was around at this time of day is going to be on the 3rd of May. Saturday the 3rd of May, 10 o'clock in the morning. David's just going to tell me he hates me because he's not going to be around or something. But we do have a open where anyone can come and tell a story every other Sunday at 6 o'clock UK time. And our next one of that is on Sunday the 11th. That's 8 days time. 6 o'clock in the evening UK time. Our worldwide story round. So that's so just think of those dates, the 11th and the 3rd. Please come back and visit us again. But don't go away now, because we have our final teller who's patiently waited for the last 2 hours, and if she's like me, when on the end of a story round, you've got a story in your head when you come in, and then by the time everyone's told their stories, the story's gone completely out of your head, so out of my head. So I hope that hasn't happened with Nadia. The floor is yours. And please tell me how to pronounce your name properly.
I'm Anagha.
Anagha, I've got it right. I've got it right. Anagha.
Yes,
marvelous.
Yes. I'm from Bangalore, India. So like what you said, yeah, with so many stories around, you really tend to forget the story, what is in your head. So luckily for today, I chose a story which I have grown up listening to. So this is a story which is a folk tale. It's actually a poem from Karnataka in India. It's called Govina Hadu, which is a cow's song. So the story goes like this. So in the deep insides of Karnataka, in a small village, there lived a cowherd who had many cows. And every day he would take all his cows out for grazing. And he named all of them with the names of the rivers. And after letting them loose for some time, he would call them Gange Bare, Gauri Bare, Tunga Badre, Tai Bare, Punya Koti, Neenu Bare, is how he would call. And all the cows, just when he called, would come running to him. But the heroine of our story, Punya Koti, would just stay there, daydreaming about her little calf who was in the cow shed waiting for her. And on one particular day, as Punya Koti was daydreaming, she didn't hear the rustle in the grass. She didn't hear
We'll wait patiently. Anagha has been waiting all night to tell her now her internet's gone down. That's yeah, that is the world we live in. We'll wait for her to get back on the virtual highway.
John, can I ask you a question? Did
you
see the 3rd of May for the next session?
Pardon?
Did you see the 3rd of May for the next Asian?
Yes.
That's May Day Monday, is that right?
I've got that wrong then.
Yeah,
I'm back. I don't know. I think the network problem. So now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So now that I'm right in front of you, I don't want to be your prey. You don't want to be my prey? I've been waiting all day and my tummy is grumbling. Well, I agree, I'm your prey, but I plead, I request you, just give me that few hours. Let me go back, talk to my baby, tell her that I will never be back and I shall come back to you and you can eat me. You want me to believe that you will go away and come back to me? Do you think a tiger is a fool? No. I give you my word and I shall keep it up. Please allow me to go, said Punya Koti. Arjun thought for a moment and said, What's the harm? Let me give her a chance. And she said, off you go, but I shall wait till the sun sets. And if you are not here by the time the sun sets, I will come to the cowshed and all the cows, well, I don't have to tell it. I will not give you the chance. I promise you, said Punyakoti, and turned away and started walking towards the cowshed. And the tiger kept looking at her and said, have I been a fool to let go of my prey? Anyway, let me just wait. As Punyakoti neared the cowshed, ding, 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 she heard the sound of the bell in her baby's neck. And the baby came running to her and said, Mama, I've been waiting for you, and started suckling. Punyakoti just nudged her with her head and said, drink all you want, my baby, for this will be the last time you will be seeing me. What? What are you telling, Mama? I don't think that can ever happen. You're mine. Well, I am yours, and I shall always be yours. But I've promised the tiger that I shall come back to him. Don't you worry. You will live and you shall be okay. Why do you have to go back, Mama? He won't know. It's okay. Just be with me. No, my baby. No. Once a word is given, we will have to keep it up. Else, I don't know about gods, but I can't live in peace. And what will I teach you? And she just looked around and talked to all her friends and said, oh, my sisters, this little baby of mine is going to be an orphan. Don't kick her if she comes to you. Allow her to suckle. Treat her like your own baby. And looked at her baby and said, I'm very sorry that you are going to be an orphan, but I shall always be there for you, guiding you. Just live, if you can, happily, and just turn over. The little baby sprang and walked and followed her mother till she could, with tears in her eyes. And there, Arghya was waiting. The sun has set and she hasn't come. What a fool have I been. I need to go and kill all the cows now. And as he just finishes thinking that, there he sees the silhouette of Punyakoti with her head down, walking slowly to the cliff. He just can't believe this. And he looks up and says, Punyakoti, is that you? Of course it's me. I have kept up my word. You can come eat me. There my baby is an orphan, but you fill your tummy. My word I have kept up, is what she said. Tiger just looked at her. Oh, you are an epitome of truth, values. If at all I kill you or I eat you, I don't think I can ever live. Saying this, Arghya just jumped off the cliff and gave up his life. Punyakoti did feel bad for him, but immediately turned around and sprang and ran back to her baby. And the baby was so happy to see her and said, Mama, I shall live happily with you. And of course, I shall always keep up the word that I give it to you or to anyone in this world. Thank you so much, Mama. And she hugged her mom and they lived happily ever after. So this is the story of Punyakoti from Karnataka in India. Thank you so much.
And what a wonderful story to finish the whole session on, a story of hope, a story, I mean, just, it's beautiful. In fact, it's been such a beautiful day. Unmute yourselves, give each other a huge round of applause.
Thank you,
Say
Anha.
hello. Oh, fantastic. I just you know, I say this at the end of all my sessions, but you know, of my sessions, our sessions, but my heart is always filled at this. It just I just do the quick run through. I know for a lot of you it'll be the middle of your nights, but the sessions we've got coming up this week, 6 o'clock tomorrow, all in UK time, obviously. 6 o'clock tomorrow is not tomorrow. 6 o'clock Monday. Monday will be Connecting the World by Stories, where we're having a discussion with Dave Tong and Claire.
One word को spelling के रहेछ फोरमै हैन यो फोरमै हो हैन my first time.
Hello Bina, hello, we can hear you.
Yeah. That's okay.
Hello, sorry.
No, that's okay. We like to hear you, Bina.
Sorry.
Maybe you'll
hello in Kathmandu. Lovely to see you again.
Lovely to meet everybody, such wonderful storytellers. This is my first time. Actually, I was watching somewhere else. I'm not very good with the, computers. So I hope to see you all next time. Maybe then
and that is, as Phil pointed out, the Saturday is the 1st of May, not the 3rd, as I said. I'm just, but I need a Phil or David Thompson or someone just to tell me when I get things wrong. So it's 1st of May. But this Monday is at 6 o'clock. We're exploring how to take history and stories and put them together, and we're having Dave Tong and Claire Goodall and anyone else who wants to join in that discussion. Tuesday at 5 o'clock UK time is our young tellers. Yasname is usually there, and tellers from, and if you've got young tellers you want to show, to meet other young tellers from across the world, please send them along to us or bring them along to us. Friday, we always do stories for poor children on Friday, and it's Shelley Verma, who's is Indian but lives in Switzerland. She doesn't do morning telling because, like me, she's full of hay fever in the mornings. She's much better in the evenings, and so there's a. But Shelley's a brilliant teller, and she's telling stories for children on Friday at 6 o'clock. And of course, on Sunday, then we have the Sunday in 8 days' time. You're all invited again to come and tell stories. That's 6 o'clock in the evening UK time, so probably midnight or 11 o'clock for most of you. So just drink lots of coffee and stay up and visit us. Meanwhile, thank you all. Thank you for visiting us. If you want an invitation for our festival in February, please get in touch. And we just think you're all magnificent. Give each other a huge round of applause. And I think it's Ali down in Marrakesh that's been driving the bus today. No, it's Mohammed. Mohammed, thank you for driving the bus for us today. You have been magnificent. Without you all in Marrakesh, we would be lost.
You're welcome, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Thank you. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much. It was my first time. I really enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Same here.
Hi, Young Suk. Good to see you again. Good to see you. So thank you, David, giving me the chance again.
Oh, you must come back every month, Ansuk, because you're my favorite Korean storyteller of all time, and you always will be.
Yeah, even if you meet a second Korean storyteller, then David.
Until you have a second Korean storyteller, I will be your first.